Do you have an idea that maybe you believe can work as a startup business in Africa? Do you also have that motivation and that drive to come back and to start a business and to grow it from wherever your starting point is? Well, my name is Mayowa. I came back to Nigeria in 2010, and today I'm a co-founder of a leading fintech company with around 112 employees or staff and growing. I would like to share 10 things with you that you can use to implement as you start your journey, or maybe you've already started your journey and you want to make sure that you're staying up to date. Here are the 10 things. Here we go. Right, so the first point is to validate your idea. And this can be incredibly challenging to do if you're not really on ground. So I would suggest if you are abroad and you have an idea that you need to validate, you need to be on ground. And I would dedicate, let's say, maybe 6 to 9 months, depending on your visa status. But let's say you plan for 6 to 9 months of being on ground and really digging in to your idea and exploring what type of opportunities you have, what might be potentially the challenges you would face, what are the limitations in terms of resources. So validating your idea is very, very key. How I did it was obviously I had moved back, I had got the work experience within the industry, and then I also had gone back to school. So I had the exposure of just being around the people and the customers that I wanted to serve, and that helped me to validate my point. Leading into point number two, which is research the industry and markets. Once again, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go to school in Lagos Business School to be precise, which is where I was able to not only validate my idea, but to do the research necessary to flesh out the idea, speak to potential investors, customers, stakeholders. And that was all within the school environment. So the school environment was excellent for me for research and for me to identify the market that I wanted to serve. But in your case, you might not have the luxury of going to school in Nigeria. You could take a program. It could be a short program in LBS, a travel abroad program that is focused on Africa and on business and entrepreneurship in Africa. But you need to find out where you can get the most value for the time that you have while you're on ground. That should help you to do the research, understand the market a lot better. Point number three, define your unique value proposition. In my case, that was really about actually looking at how can we create a financial solution that will help SMEs get the money without us necessarily lending from our balance sheets, right? So we were able to come up with a peer-to-peer lending business model, and how we will do that was either through the web dashboard or through the app. Now, this was quite revolutionary at the time. We were only maybe one of the very few people that were using this business model, but that was something that made us to be very unique at the beginning, and it was enabling us to start off very lean at the very beginning. So that was something that was very unique to us, and you can do the work as well by thinking about what is unique to you and what value can you give to your customer. Point four, build a business model. Having an idea is one thing, but being able to build a business model is a completely other thing. And a business model basically means is you're giving a service or you're selling a product, but how is it translating into revenue? How are you making money, right? You need to be able to figure out how you're making money and how this is going to be profitable for you and for your investors. Point number five, create a minimum viable product. In our case, because we leverage on technology, we had to decide whether to build or to buy. And to build would take a lot of time and a lot of fun. So we decided to buy, and we bought a white label solution that allowed us to plug and play and to really get off the ground very quick. Another thing is that we did to build our minimum viable products was to keep expenses incredibly low, and that meant being very frugal. So we didn't have any office spaces. We used the same laptops from our school programs, and basically we even paid ourselves just a small stipend to get by, and that helped us to keep prices very low so that we can build the products and see if there is any sort of demand, which we did find out to be the case. Point number six, sort out your legal and financial structures. Now, this might feel like a tedious task, but you get why, and there's a very strong reason for doing it and doing it very well, right? So this might be your founders agreements. This might be, how are you registering at the CAC? Is it going to be unlimited liability? Is it going to be a sole proprietor? How are you going to fix your initial investors? Are you going to do a safe? Or are you going to draw up long legal documents for share owners agreements? All of this is very important, and sorting it out in the very early stages help you in the future. Trust me. Point 7, secure initial funding. You need to put together a pitch deck, right? You need a pitch deck, and you need to be able to get all the data and the information that you have readily available. That means you need to understand your market, understand your audience, understand your customer, and understand the value that you're going to be producing as a business. And this ties into a previous point about your business model. This is where you tie in your business model and tie everything together when it comes to raising funds. Your investors are going to need to know that you understand the numbers, are going to need to know that you understand the industry, and are going to need to know that you understand the competition. Develop a go-to-market strategy. This can be quite challenging because now you have a business model, now you have the idea, you've done all the paperwork and whatnot. How do people actually find out what exactly it is that you do? Now, this is what they call go-to-market strategy. It really pertains to your marketing campaigns, pertains to your SEO configurations, and it also just basically means setting up things so that way your customers can find you by themselves, and also you can put your products and services in front of them. It also could mean going out to engage with different people at industry events, connecting, networking. This is where the networking conversation now comes in. And it's all part of your go-to-market strategy. Point number 9, early on in the days of when we were starting, we had a go-to-market strategy, and that was to be very active on social media. Now, we didn't really know what we were doing at the time. We were just creating a lot of content. But I think one of the things that we did very well is that we did frequent posts. We put out a lot of social media, and that started to bring some traction, or at least some eyes to what we were doing. I think the main challenge for most businesses is not even the business model, it's not even the financing, it's basically just being obscure. People don't even know you exist. So having a go-to-market strategy that allows your customer to know that you exist and that you have a product or service to provide is very key. And if you're in the diaspora and you want to come to Nigeria or come to Africa to do business, I think it's very important that within those initial 6-9 months that I mentioned that you're on ground, to find out the pain points, the challenges, and some of the things that speak to your customer and to your audience to help you create content specifically for them. Last but not least, we have point number 10, and that is to prepare yourself for the mental and emotional journey. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing at all. No matter how much social media makes it sound like it's just this lifestyle of, luxury and affluence, it comes with a lot of mental, physical, and emotional stress. And preparing yourself for that might mean getting the information that you need by reading, studying, shadowing your bosses in your organization or where you're currently working, if you're on ground and where your customers are based. If you're in the diaspora, what you might need to do is to reach out to some of the friends or some of the professional contacts you have in the market that you're planning to serve. Learn about what it is that they think is going on and try and piece together all the points for yourself. And also get yourself on ground. You can't do it from afar. You need to be on ground. You need to be speaking to people and also learn from the community. You have a lot of community groups that are tailored towards entrepreneurship, and you can learn a lot from the journey from that community and from those conversations. And that cannot be emphasized any much more. So that is point number 10. And I think that wraps up our 10 points of what to do before starting a business in Nigeria or Africa for that matter. So we've come to the end of this video. The top 10 points you need to learn before starting your startup in Nigeria or Africa for that matter. And I hope you've been able to grab a lot of value from these insights, right? And if you do like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who might need this. My name is Maiwa Adioshun. You are watching Ready Steady Goals, and it's been a pleasure to share these 10 tips with you, and I hope that you can use them and explore the world of entrepreneurship.